So we'll start with introductions, roll into logistics, get rolling into the content because we have a lot of stuff to cover today. For those that don't know, my name is Marcus. I'm one of the owners of Harmonize. I have several team members with me today. I have David, who runs a tons of our webinars. He's going to be helping with the chat. He does co-presentations with instructors and such. So he's sort of our best person at fielding questions in the chat, getting them interrupted and or tabling them until later in the call. He'll be handling that. I have with us Andrew. Andrew is the head of our product team. Any super deep technical questions, we will defer to Andrew because he's the one that works directly with developers on what we're building as well. And then I have Alex, who is the queen of all things training and documentation. She is the one that has run through samples of what we're doing today, has built a lot of the actual content that you're going to see today. And her and David and myself will be handling future trainings on this content. She will be doing the majority of the driving today because she is in fact better at it than I am, as well as I was on spring break last week and she very kindly offered to pull all this together while I was on spring break. All right, so agenda for today. As many of you know, or I'm guessing you know, but we'll cover anyway, we are launching a whole bunch of accessibility updates coming out in about 2 weeks. April 9th is our target release date for all this so that you all have time to take everything we show you today, take all the resources we provide, communicate it to instructors so they know what to expect, but ahead of the April 24th or whatever Title II deadline is coming our way. So what we're going to cover today is going to be in two separate batches, or you can think about it in two separate ways. We are building out functionality for support for extended audio descriptions, for captions, for better support for alt text, for transcripts, for video. So a bunch of things to make multimedia richer. But we are also rolling out a package that you can opt into that has a minuscule cost associated with it, but it's using AI to pre-fill all of those elements for you so that your instructors, instead of having to start from scratch with alt text or start from scratch with an audio description, we will have the opportunity to pre-fill that with AI for them so that they can then go through and just do edits as opposed to having to build things from scratch. If you don't opt into that AI package, everything else we're going to show you today still works, still functions. It's all part of Core Harmonize. The only reason we're selling the AI thing as an additional cost is that simply there are AI costs we have to pay to make that happen. So keep this in mind. We're going to show you a bunch of things. The AI generated part has a slight extra cost. Several and lots of institutions have already opted into it. We can talk about that later. But we still are going to show you everything that will be there for your instructors on how to edit captions, how to edit audio descriptions, add them, etc. As we go through. We are demoing this to you on a server that our developers are finishing testing on. So I like to put that little disclaimer just for Alex's blood pressure that if the developers break something in the next 5 minutes while they're fixing something else, the site might bounce for a second, and we will blame the developers. And Andrew, I think we're going to blame you too.
That's fair.
Fair, okay. If that happens, but I just like to put that disclaimer out there because we are not operating on a production system, but we're trying to get you early access to see what's coming so you can take a look at that. This is going to be an hour of content, pretty densely packed. And we're going to run through a deep dive into what all the features are, how they work, everything, so you can see the totality of what's coming. Then we are also going to share some resources for you that we've pre-written to be able to share with faculty members to announce this, as well as all the documentation. And then additional trainings that we're going to do for your faculty and ways you can even set up private trainings for your faculty as well. So this is both product plus you as the leadership at your school. How can you help support your faculty as we roll this out? How can we support them? How can you use us for different resources along those lines as well? Having said all that, if you are faculty in the room, welcome. You are not unwelcome at all here. Your questions are super key and important and will probably also help inform some of the leadership that's here as well. We will be doing faculty devoted sessions as follow-ups to this as well, where it's just focused on how to use the tool as opposed to the rollout and such as well. So without further ado, actually one additional thing that I was supposed to cover, if you happen to be in the pilot classes currently piloting Harmonize, this feature will be turned on. The AI accessibility feature will be turned on so you can play with it on your own. If you if you're a customer and you want to play with it before you decide to purchase the AI pre-fill part of it, we highly encourage that. To make sure you know what you're getting into, and we will make that available for you. We're working out logistics of that as well, but we'll probably email you a special link to be able to upload videos and play with as well. So the stuff you'll see today, even if you haven't already purchased the package, you'll be able to use and try out before you actually dive into it. I don't think anything else. Alex, did I miss anything that you wanted me to cover?
I think that was all the things.
All right. So, logistics wise, before I turn over to Alex, then we are recording for those that just came in. Put your questions out in the chat because there are 45 people in this call. There will probably be more that filter in, and we will handle the questions in the chat. Some of them we will answer in the chat. Some of them we will queue up immediately. Some of them David will put on hold till later in the call. To be able to field those questions. But put your questions there so that we are staying efficient. And then, as always, like if you need more of our time to talk about these things or the impacts, reach out and we will get something set up to be able to spend more time with you on this as well. All right, Alex, over to you.
All right. As an instructional designer, I love learning outcomes. So I'm going to drop some learning outcomes in the chat that are just going to let you know too what we're going to go through today specifically. I'm going to cover how to use and edit closed captions, audio descriptions, alt text, media and captions, media captions, all that good stuff. Show you how to extract transcripts and captions if you want to pull them out of Harmonize. I will show you how to build a page, which is sort of our newest tool for those who have the AI accessibility. And then at the end, we're going to talk to you about how you can effectively manage rollout and provide you some resources for that. So let's go ahead and get started. One other thing before we roll in. For folks not familiar, probably everyone here is familiar, but just in case, a few of the terms we're using today, it's worth defining. Audio descriptions. So by audio descriptions, we mean descriptions of the visible stuff in the video that someone may not be able to hear. And so it's important to provide that info to the non-sighted users. And we specifically are offering extended audio descriptions. That means that the video pauses and plays them. So I'm going to show you that in a minute so you can see exactly what we mean by that. And then we also have alt text describing images, and we have media captions, which are things all users can see. If you hear me using those terms, that's what they mean. Okay, I'm going to go to the actual fun part of this, which is showing how the cool things work. Feel free if you have a question to drop it in the chat. I'm popping this out of any particular LMS, so you can see it the way it would look in any LMS. And I'm going to start by showing what a video would look and sound like when it had these things enabled, how you and your students might interact with it. So I've got this math video here. I'm going to click play, then I'm going to pause right away just to note a few things. So there are a bunch of options here that you and your students will be able to access. Down here in the corner, we've got audio descriptions, we've got closed captions. Right now, my audio descriptions are off, my closed captions are on. And then there's also a transcript, and right now it's collapsed. The first time students go in, it'll probably look kind of like this, but the cool thing is all of these settings are sticky. So if you have a student who really needs the audio descriptions, once they turn them on, they're going to stay on. Same thing for the transcript and the closed captions. The closed captions we've had for a while, but just as a reminder, if you click that CC button, you can turn them off. Or if there's more than one caption file, you can switch languages. This is where you turn audio description on and off. And there's actually another place you can turn audio description on and off right in the transcript. So I'm going to click Show Transcript. And this is new. We have not offered transcripts before. We are super excited about this. This is great for students. I think it's great for instructors too, because sometimes, like in the past, they've asked for this because it can be hard to grade videos and things like this. So being able to view a transcript of a student video and have the closed captions readily visible is fantastic. You can choose whether or not to have the audio descriptions included in that transcript. So that's a good setting as well. Okay, so I'm going to turn the audio descriptions on so you can actually hear them. And I'm going to reshare because I'm pretty sure I did not optimize for sound and video. So hopefully now you will be able to hear my sound. And what you're going to see um,
You,
is,
I don't know if
one,
this matters, Alex, but you shared your entire desktop that time around, so
oh, did I? That's fun. That's going to make it small and hard
it
to
was a
see.
little
Okay,
small. I was just
let's try
didn't know
again.
what else was on your desktop from a privacy perspective. That's better.
Oh, all kinds of crazy things. Um, Okay. So what you're going to notice is this math video is great, but it has some really key information being conveyed only visually. And so we're going to see and hear what it's like once we've enabled the audio descriptions. And you'll be able to follow along in the transcript as well.
A digital whiteboard with a light dotted grid is on screen. Centered in black handwriting, find the integrating factor for and below it. T times y prime minus 2y equals 3e to the t.
Can you find the integrating factor for this equation?
A red line is drawn underneath the entire equation. T times y prime minus 2y equals 3e to the t.
What is the formula? Remember?
At the upper left, in red, a standard linear.
And I'm going to pause. You'll notice that I actually paused in the middle of an audio description. There are audio description controls, which is nice. You can pause in the middle of an audio description. You can go back to the beginning. You can skip to the next one. You can keep playing. So those are going to appear once you've turned on audio descriptions. If you turn them off, they go away. Um, and if an audio description isn't actively playing, they won't be accessible. So this is pretty cool. This is great. This is taking something that wouldn't make sense or wouldn't make very much sense maybe to a student who couldn't see the video, and it's making it comprehensible. All right, so that covers kind of how we navigate these things. A couple other things to note here in this viewer area. You can download the captions. There's this little triple dot kebab menu, and if you want to, you can download the caption file. The other thing you can do is copy the transcript. This is only available to instructors, so this button won't show up for folks in a student role. But what you can do here, you can choose to turn audio descriptions on or off, and then click copy. And so you can either copy out just the captions or just the audio descriptions. And if you want to put them in like a Google Doc or Word document or something, and then have that transcript to do what you want with. And I see Marcus unmuting. Did you want to throw something in there, Marcus?
Yeah, a couple of things instructors were asking for. They were asking for that specifically to put it into AI. So you could copy all, paste into AI if your school permits it as well. So hence some of the ability to get at some of these things, even if you're not using them for other videos and such, you can get them to be able to bring into other systems.
Yeah, that's a really great point. So if your school has like an approved AI for this level of data, you can copy the transcript, put it in there, and then do all kinds of cool things with it because it's going to come in with like certain timestamps and formatting, but you can say, hey, convert it to this kind of file, or like take out all the the timestamps and turn it into something that's more narrative. So some good things you can do there. And then if you want to, you can provide it to students. But we've chosen not to expose that by default to students to hopefully encourage them to actually watch the video. Okay, I think that covers all the options here. And so now we are ready to cover cool editing options. Oh,
Actually,
Marcus, you wanted to say more?
all of this stuff is clickable. It's not super apparent. We didn't bother to call it out, but if your super users go through, if they want to jump to a spot, they can click in the transcript and it will scroll the video to the correct place. A little more super userish, but something that's there for instructors who are trying to quickly get through 30 student videos of a specific type. They can jump to a point and hear what it actually looks like and go in from there.
Yep. Yeah, and you might have noticed this during playback as well. The relevant parts of the transcript sort of get highlighted as it's reading through, and it bolds the exact stuff that's being read. This nice transcript viewer also tries to group things together logically so that things aren't cutting off in the middle. So there are some good features there that make it pretty easy to use. All right, so
Actually, one thing before you go on, I
yeah.
mentioned the distinction between the AI package you have to pay for and not. Everything you're seeing here is available to you. The AI package is what pre-filled the audio description content. So the red line is drawn underneath the entire equation. That is what the AI generated. We didn't edit it, and that's what it looks like. It can read handwriting, it can do those types of things. If you don't opt into that package, you'll have this transcript. You will have the closed captions. You will have the ability to add your own audio descriptions using the editor she's about to walk into. We just won't pre-fill those and pre-fill the alt text with the AI written content. Okay,
Yeah,
Alex, back to
which
you.
is great because like I love that the audio descriptions are available to everyone, but also the way the AI generates them is just very cool and very impressive. It's great how accurate they are. So, okay. Let's jump into editing. I'm going to open this. Actually, I think I can do it right from here. Let me close out of my video here. I'm going to click edit. The way when you want to manage and edit your transcripts, your closed captions, your audio descriptions, you're always going to start by editing whatever it is. If it's like a post or a comment or the instructions, you're going to go into edit mode. So I'm here in my editor. I have my video, and you're going to see an edit transcript button here. So I'm going to click edit transcript, and this takes you into our transcript viewer. This view puts the media on the left, and I've been saying video, but of course closed captions and transcripts are available as well for audio. But if you've got something visual here, a video, it's going to show up on the left. And then on the right, you're going to see all the closed captions and the audio descriptions. And like Marcus said, you know, if you don't have the AI accessibility package, the audio descriptions won't be here, but you'll still be able to add them, which I will show. So basically the way this works, these little things are called cues. They're little snippets of closed captions and or audio description. And there's a little pencil icon on each one. So you can click, and it's really easy, intuitive. You can edit the timestamps, the start and end timestamps for closed captions, and you can edit the text. In this same place, you can choose to delete them if you want to. You can cancel your changes, or you can click done when you're ready. So those are the options for closed captions. Audio descriptions, slightly different options. If you click on the edit, they just have one timestamp field because that's the time when we pause the video and play the audio description. But you can change that time and you can change the text as well. Audio descriptions also have additional controls for moving up and down. This is useful because sometimes like you might, you know, here, for example, this audio description got inserted in between two captions that form a single sentence, right? So sometimes this happens. We try to put them in at natural pauses, but maybe someone does a big pause in the middle of a sentence and we stick in an audio description. It's really easy to move that. So I can take my little audio description here, click down, and now it's going to go and then find the mute and only then read the audio description.
That's a great example of how closed caption doesn't always work exactly right for math. Because we were actually able to read the equation better than we were able to understand what the instructor said. And so what the instructor should do here is find the mute. I believe
Near
what
the
the
lower
instructor
middle,
said.
in red, the
Hang on.
instructor
Whoops,
writes,
sorry. I started playing it.
She should have said find the mu of t. Because that's what she spoke, but the closed caption picked it up as mute.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And
Didn't even
so
notice. That's so funny.
I can't stress this enough. The thing Alex is going to show you and the thing we're going to talk about is that all of this is instructor in the loop. So closed captions, traditionally, we haven't had an easy way to access and edit. Now we do. And same thing for audio descriptions. If they're AI generated, there are going to be mistakes. No AI or no machine is 100% correct on these. I can't stress this enough. The emails we have going out are emphasizing this to instructors. When you get notified that it's ready, please edit it, etc. So I think it's nice that there is a to be able to edit them. And yeah, David asked the question, your CC is editable without the add-on? Yes, 100%. Like you can jump in and do this closed caption editing, regardless of if we did an AI pre-fill or not. The closed captions are going to be pre-filled. That's not the AI package. That's already happens. So if you don't buy the AI accessibility package, you still get closed captions auto-generated. You still can edit them in exactly the way she's showing.
Yeah, and I love that we have a transcript editor now where you can edit closed captions because before you could, but you had to like download them, edit somewhere else, upload. So now you can edit them right here. And this speaks to what Marcus was saying. In this example, we have audio descriptions generated because that was the package. But even if you don't, even if you have not opted into that, you can add your own. So in addition to being able to edit, you can add audio description and closed caption cues. You just click this little plus button between any two cues, and it's going to ask you what you want to add. So say you don't have the audio descriptions and you want some, you can click Add Audio Description. And so you know, this is the thing that is happening here. And again, you can then like adjust the time, cancel, delete, done. So pretty easy to do. And this is circling back to because Marcus just pointed out we're encouraging folks to edit once the videos are ready. I'm showing you all of this with a video that we uploaded earlier, so the audio descriptions are already here. But the workflow for instructors is going to be they're going to upload or record their video. And there are not going to be audio descriptions immediately because it takes a little time to process those. So the video is going to process, and then when the closed captions, audio descriptions, all of that is ready, they will get a notification. I guess I should say for folks who don't have the package, like closed captions are ready very quickly. And if you do have the audio description, the AI accessibility add-on, that tends to be pretty fast too, but it can take a while. It can take up to a couple of hours for those audio descriptions to generate. But the good thing is you don't have to keep coming back and checking. We will notify your instructors. And so they will receive that notification and they'll know when they can go in and make edits. And like Marcus said, we encourage them to do that because the AI is pretty awesome, but you should check it. Okay. Does anyone want to ask questions at this juncture?
While we're waiting, the questions come in before you leave this screen. Things I think that are interesting. So she's doing this in a video of a math instructor just presenting some stuff by sharing her screen. The same thing could be done if they were doing a PowerPoint presentation. Like this thing is triggered from either Harmonize's built-in screen record, Harmonize's built-in video recorder, Harmonize built-in audio recorder, or uploaded videos that the student has recorded elsewhere as well. So we will kick this off for any of them. So if you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, it will describe the slides for you as well. And that's another case where instructors may want to move around the audio descriptions, for example, because if it's coupled PowerPoint presentation and speaking, they may really, really care which order those come in, and hence the move things up and down feature for them as well.
Yep. And the audio descriptions, just for clarity, are going to be available for the instructor videos, right? But not the student videos at this time, but maybe later.
Correct. Let's cover sort of all
We'll
that
cover
at the
that
end.
later.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right,
let you
cool.
I'll let you stay focused on
I thought you
UI.
said student videos, so I just wanted to.
I might
Okay.
have, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, cool. Other things to note, you have some managing options here. So there's this little kebab menu, and if you click this, you've got some different options. You can manage caption files. And this is where you're going to see the generated closed captions. You can also add additional caption files. If you have additional caption files, we'll only let you have one of each language type. So if you upload another, you're going to have to select a different language for it because presumably you only want sort of one captioning language, one file per each captioning language. Anything else to say there? You can cancel, you can save. Perhaps the more interesting features in this menu, you can delete all the audio descriptions. So we try not to generate a bunch of superfluous audio descriptions. Like if you upload a talking head video, we won't like laboriously describe everything you're saying and doing for the entire video. We'll do a quick like, here's what's happening, here's what's on screen, and then we'll just do the closed captions. But maybe you don't even want that. You can delete the audio description. Perhaps the safer and better option is disabling audio descriptions. So if you would like, you can disable audio descriptions for the video, and then they won't appear in the playback, but they will still be there if you want to retrieve or use them. David asked a great question. This AD tool works on any video you create in Harmonize or upload, and it's both created and uploaded videos, and then the closed captions are created and uploaded videos and audio. Sorry, I cut you off, Marcus. You were about to.
No, you were right to answer that one. The disable audio descriptions, the reason we put this in here is that if the instructor comes in and they're like, those audio descriptions were close, I see that, I would like to fix them, but I'm in the middle of a coffee break or whatever, they can disable them. come back and edit them and then re-enable them so that if they're like, I really don't want students seeing those until I'm sure they're correct, they can do that. We don't expect that to be a common use case because our belief is that any audio descriptions is better than none. But it's there for your instructors. So if they're like, I want to redo that, or if you have a production line where you're like the instructor is generating stuff and you have a professional audio describer, hallelujah if you do, that's great. Have them come in, do review, fix, then enable and save, and that you can do that in your blueprints or your master courses as well as you go through it.
I love that. David asks, can this video with added AD be downloaded and used elsewhere?
You can download
so yeah.
the videos. Because it's an extended audio description, we don't have a version of the video that can do the pause for you because we are actively pausing with JavaScript that video and letting things play. So we can give you the video, you can copy out the transcripts, but then we kind of have an open question of like if people wanted to drop these into a Panopto or a Yuja or something like that because we're less expensive or whatever reason that need be. We want to talk to people about that because like Steven's team, for example, asked about downloading the VTT. There is no standard for VTT that we can find of what's going to work in all of these different players. So if you are in the case where you're like, I'm seeing this and I want to download things to use elsewhere, we'd love to talk about what that use case looks like so we can see like, okay, what would we have to do to make that work? Because yes, you could you could copy all of that and massage it into whatever format, but that's not a great workflow. So if you are finding yourself looking at all this and thinking, I want to download and use elsewhere, contact us, drop us an email at support or drop me an email and we'll get something set up to talk about that use case so we can make sure before I say, yes, go ahead, that it's actually something that's workable.
I saw David unmute. Did you want to throw something in, David?
Yeah. So just to make sure, whenever David asked about uploading, we are referring to uploaded file videos. This will not work if the instructor uploads a YouTube link or a user link, anything to that degree.
Great clarification, David. It has to be a video that we have access to. So if you paste in a YouTube link, that's off on YouTube servers and we can't do anything for you. So very good clarification. This does not add audio descriptions to videos that are hosted elsewhere. Only videos hosted inside of Harmonize. So if they have access to that video and they download it and upload it into Harmonize, great. We do all the things to it. So yes, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, if they have the video, in Yuja, in Canvas Studio, in YouTube, right? Like you said, they can download it, upload it. And then like a good point to go along with that too is that, and y'all are probably familiar with this, but it can be good to reassure faculty that doesn't actually count against their storage limits in the LMS. And these things will copy over between semesters. So like if they're reusing the videos in courses between semesters, the audio descriptions and the captions will come over because sometimes faculty are using those libraries to try to keep everything working, but it will come over during course copy. You'll notice there's a little warning for me up here in the left corner because I've messed with the transcript a little bit, messed with the closed captions and audio descriptions. It says press save and close to keep pending changes. So this is just a word of warning. This is kind of an active editing area where drafts aren't going to get saved. So if you're doing, or your faculty are doing really extensive changes here, we do recommend clicking save and close pretty often. Now, at this point, a draft is saved. Like you don't have to click publish for a draft to be saved. Right at that moment, the draft is saved. And you can like very easily pop back in and keep going. So just do some little save and closes. Flip side, if you haven't done any little save and closes and you suddenly have regrets where you're like, I tried to edit stuff, but this is madness and I want to undo it, we do offer a discard and close as well. Okay, so that is everything here, I believe. When you're happy with all your changes, you can click publish and they're going to show up in your video. Okay, so that covers everything with transcripts, closed captions, audio descriptions. Next, I'm going to show how you can add embedded. Oh, yes.
Question that came in on videos before you move on.
Yeah.
Catherine, there's not a way to view every video that you've ever uploaded into Harmonize. We do have plans for doing an instructor dashboard, which will let you see all the Harmonize activities you've created. That's something Andrew and I are actively working on. But there is no like, show me the 75 videos I've recorded so that I can go see all the audio descriptions in one place. I'm guessing that's what you're after there. But no mechanism like that exists currently.
Good question. Other questions?
Actually, anything on video or audio descriptions before we move on? Because Alex is moving into, I think, alt text and different things.
I am, but I'm going to stay here for a minute. So if anyone has a question that they think of later, we can also answer. But yeah, while we're here, might as well.
All right, you can carry on. We can always come back at that point.
We can, because I'm going to stay in here for a second in the editing area. Because I want to show this. The cool thing about alt text, the AI alt text, is that it appears very, very quickly. So this part I'm going to show live. I'm going to go ahead and add an image to this. Oh, sorry, I think I made it disappear for a second. It's okay, sorry. Or my back, it's my thing here. All right. So I am uploading, oh no, not that one, hang on. I don't like that one. That one already had some, an attempt at alt text on it, hang on. I'm gonna upload a kind of cool looking infographic that maybe my imaginary faculty member designed, and it's super cool and I love it, but it's not accessible because it's an image and it's got this really important information on it. So what am I gonna do? So I've uploaded my image and it's gonna generate some alt text for me. So this is really great. It went pretty quickly. Again, this is only going to be for folks who have the AI alt text. But even if you don't, you can still add and edit alt text. But it popped right in here, infographic titled summary versus this, 3 comparison boxes. Here's what's in each box. So this is really great. And it even kind of, you can see it's like plus a rule of thumb advising when to use each. So it's really cool. And
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause here. I'm going to use this as another example of what your instructor should do here.
Yeah.
Notice it did everything for them except for tell them what the rule of thumb was. And so ideally, they do this, and then they type in what the rule of thumb is, because AI is doing its best to understand the context of why the image is important and pull out certain text, but it's never going to get, well, never. Sometimes it will not do as well as a human. And a human is always better, hence the human in the loop. So this is what the instructor should do for alt text, for example, come in. Like they had to fix the mu of t in the audio description. They need to come in and add, I think, in my opinion, the rule of thumb for this particular thing here, but it got them closer as well.
Right. So they only have to type this one thing instead of typing the other stuff.
But I think it's and our email out to the instructors encourages this and sort of this is, I think, the main role for you all as you're using this package is to be like, look, don't get complacent. AI is a good helper, but AI is not the end all be all. Your accessibility folks will, I'm sure, back me up on this when they're looking at what we're doing. Like we've gotten it close, and so the big thing is encourage instructors not to get complacent. Because it will often do quite a good job, and then there are times where it won't, and they still need to read it and look at it.
That is a great point. It's a time saver, not like a shortcut that makes it so you never have to do any accessibility work. But it is a big time saver. So you've got your alt text. We'll try to limit that and not have it be too verbose. But if you get really long alt text and you want to copy it out to a separate text field with formatting and stuff, you can always click add text and put that bigger alt text out somewhere and format it. You'll also notice that there is a place for a caption. What is a caption? We call these media captions. These are also editable. This is where you put stuff that's going to show up for all students. So like figure A, summary versus paraphrase versus quote. If you want to like label your figures or images or give extra information about it that all the students are going to see, you can add that there. And then one other thing I want to mention while we're here, there's no like click regenerate button, but you can always, if you want to, upload the image again to get a different version of the alt text. So if you want to upload a couple versions and then pick one and then edit from there. Look, Marcus, This time it did a little better, I think. So it included the rule of thumb this time, right? So use
Yeah,
summary
this
for
is
context, paraphrase,
I'm
details.
gonna keep whipping this point until it's dead. AI is an unruly beast, and it will do a different thing every single time you ask it to, and so your results may vary. But yeah, great. I don't expect instructors to go as far as Alex is going, to get multiple versions and try it, but give it a shot and play with it and then see
For
what you
the
need to
IDs in the
correction.
audience, you can upload a couple and maybe discard the one you don't want, if you would like. But if any instructor asks, can I just make it regenerate? This is kind of the way you can make it regenerate. So that's alt text and caption. And if we click publish now, you will not be able to see the alt text, but you will be able to see the figure description. Or did I manage not to do it correctly? Hang on. Oh, I deleted the one with the media caption. Hang on, figure A. Blah.
I
There
was
we
going to
go.
tell Andrew there was a bug. I didn't realize
No,
you deleted the
there was
wrong
not a
one.
bug. I didn't like the one that I had written the media caption for. Oh, and now it's mad at me for having it open in multiple windows. Oh, come on. All right. Okay, okay. We should have mentioned this too. I am running this in one of our, what are they called? Sprint servers. And so sometimes it's a little bit not laggy, but it times out a little more quickly. Is that right, Marcus?
It times out,
No.
and honestly, they are fixing things and deploying it out from underneath you right now as you speak. So,
There. So
um,
there's what a media caption looks like though once you've published it. Um, so that's the alt text and media captions. Any questions about this?
this happens for student content as well as instructor content. The audio descriptions is only instructor content because we have to charge per minute to generate that because it's quite expensive. The alt text is inexpensive enough that we're just rolling it into the core package, with unlimited use for student instructors. It's not metered in any way. So this way we can make all of the student uploaded imagery have them. And also of note, this is a little niche, but Alex, if you scroll back up to your video, because we are generating thumbnails of all rich media as well, that you actually, when you're editing this, you will see an auto-generated alt text for the thumbnail of the video, as well. So it kind of tries to be as thorough as it can. So the video will have audio descriptions, the thumbnail of the video will have alt text, edit them as you see fit as well. That alt text is true for students and instructor content across the board. It's really only the audio description that we limit to instructors currently.
That is a good point. And this gets at another subtlety. And by the way, we're going to leave you like all the documentation at the end, so don't worry about remembering all this. This is all covered in the documentation. But while both instructor and student images get the AI alt text, we don't sort of by default show it to the students to review because we assume they don't necessarily want to or know how to do that. They can always like add their own alt text or do their own alt text. But it's only for the instructors where we're like, here it is. Do you want to review it? Do you want to edit it? And that's actually kind of nice because it prevents students from being like, what is this? And deleting it. So that's actually sort of an accessibility safeguard. All right. Let's go ahead and show our last exciting feature. And this maybe speaks a little bit to Catherine's concern about like, can you use this? Is there a way to view all your videos? Can it be like a library? Like one thing we anticipated with this was that folks would potentially want to just have videos, not necessarily have videos inside a discussion or inside a poll, but actually just have videos, maybe with a poll or maybe with a little bit of other content, but basically videos without a student submission. So to address this, we have created Harmonize pages. The pages are only going to be available if you have the AI accessibility package, just because we assume that it's really only interesting to you if you're trying to host the media content in a more accessible space. But I'll go ahead and show how to set that up. I did just see a question come in. What about on video or images the student is uploading? Can they edit those? We are trying to instill accessibility in students as well. They can edit that's a great question. They can edit their own captions. And they can actually they can actually add audio descriptions for video as well, if they would like. So they can access that transcript editor on their videos. And yes, they can add alt text to their images. What it looks like, hang on, I can pull it up if we would like. Let's see, let's see if I can
I would
get,
not get distracted,
don't,
Alex. I
don't
think
go
you're
too
running.
down deep.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
running
they
behind.
can is the short answer.
And Lene, we should talk about student content, and we'll cover it a little bit at the end as well, because we have some ideas there. So.
All right. The good news is this part is quick. So if you are not Canvas, you will add a page the same way you would add any other Harmonize item. You go through your process, and instead of picking discussion or something, you pick page. For Canvas users, it's a little bit different, so I want to show that really quickly. The cool news is it's better than, it's a little quicker than setting something up in a Canvas assignment. So Harmonize pages are non-graded items. They're just content that's not going to send a submission to the gradebook. And the way Canvas users will create those is they will come to a module and click plus. And instead of picking assignment, they're going to pick external tool. So you're going right to the connect to Harmonize step. And you just click on Harmonize. And you will now see all sorts of cool things, including pages. And you click on page and say create new. You give it a title, content page, say add item. And what you now have is a space to and I can pop this out now so we can be LMS agnostic and return to the part that is applicable to everyone, regardless of their LMS. You now have a space where you can upload your videos, upload your images. It doesn't just have to be video and images. You can have text content. You can add polls. So there is a little bit of student interaction that's possible here. Those aren't going to be auto-graded, but you can download them and see which students answered and that they answered. You don't see what they answered, but you can see that they answered. So for folks who just are like, I really need these audio descriptions for my lectures, but I'm not trying to do discussions. This can be a great option for them. As they add their content in Harmonize, they're going to have some good formatting options as far as like moving stuff up and down, adding additional text rows, adding polls. So it's possible to actually like intersperse the polls with the content, and you can make a really nice learning path that's going to guide students through your content, but also be accessible.
The reason, let's cover why we built this real quick. Schools have lecture content that needs audio descriptions. There was no place to put that in Harmonize so that we could actually describe it for you. So the use case here is I have an instructor that has, 3 15-minute lecture videos. They already exist. They already want them. I need them to have audio descriptions. Have them drag and drop them into a Harmonize page or click to browse or whatever, and we will run the same process on it so that you can do non-discussion, non-assignment, non-peer review, but still have a place to host your audio, host your video, so we can run this process on them. Entirely optional. They don't have to do it. But that's what the intent is here, is that for those videos you don't have another solution to solve them, drop them in here and you can use it the same way.
And there is one precautionary note here, which is in this box, in the text box or in the little spots for adding links. You should caution folks away from trying to link internally to other pages and content in Canvas or Harmonize. Even if they get those links working now in this course, they're not going to work well during course copy. So avoid the internal links. Totally fine to link out to other things, other resources, external resources, but not those like password protected internal Canvas and Harmonize links. Smita said, I understand that in Harmonize page, video annotations would not be possible. Marcus said, you can.
Don't delve into that one. Smita, if you don't understand my comment, we can take this one offline because it's not the AI related stuff, but we can talk about it.
Okay, that actually gets us pretty far along. I think the next thing we wanted to talk about was how to talk to instructors, and what resources you can give them, unless there was anything else in terms of like meaty content that you wanted to cover, Marcus.
I don't think so from the demonstration perspective. So before we move away from the screen share side of things and start talking about resources we provide, training we provide, and future directions of this, do we have any questions on the things Alex is showing before we pivot away? Get it going once, going twice type of thing. And we can always come back to this if there's time. And we also have all blocked our calendar, so if we go over the hour, we can come back to it. But let's talk about things that are not currently there that we want some feedback on. We've built this process to work for student content as well, the audio descriptions. The idea being that if you have a peer review and your students are doing PowerPoint presentations within Harmonize and there's a student with a disability in there, they need audio descriptions on student-generated content because you're asking them to do so. We've received a lot of pushback on, originally we were planning to let instructors do that, but because it's a per minute charge, that's quite expensive. And so we pushed that out of this April 9th release, and we're going to work on it in the release after, because we want to make sure we get the who can do this nailed down correctly so that we don't open you up to having some instructor describe 7,000 minutes of student-generated content, because there is, like I said, a per minute cost if you're generating those AI audio descriptions. So right now, students get the alt text, they can edit the alt text, they can add their own audio descriptions, but we won't generate them with AI. If you are a person who is like, I would totally use that at our school, and I do have budgetary concerns, contact us, drop us a note at support@Harmonize Learning. Andrew's going to be pulling those together and gathering info from what people want, because we were too permissive in what we originally have done. So we backed off from the UI control for it. It's mostly implemented, but we didn't turn it on in this release because we're like, we can't open up that. We've talked to a few of you about it. Like I think Steven's already given us his feedback in the earlier calls, but so we're just listening a little more before we turn that on because we want to make sure we're getting that right. Some of the other things that people have asked were more along the sides of what David was, and I think Steven's team wanted this as well, which is, hey, can we grab these audio descriptions and put them into a different platform? We dug into that, and like I said, there's no standard for VTT, and we want to talk to people who are trying to do that. So if you are thinking, I want to download these and do this elsewhere, or gosh, our marketing site needs this, I'd love to drop the marketing videos they put on our marketing site here and do this and then pass them back to the marketing team, or whatever you're doing, contact us as well and let us know what that looks like, because like I said, there's no just like clean, crisp, we're going to give you these audio descriptions in an exportable format that we can find. We're happy to be proven wrong on that, but we also want to see where you're trying to put them and see if there's something we can do to make that reasonable. So in terms of directions we're going, those are the types of things we're looking for. And we are really sincerely looking for feedback on how to make this better in terms of the coaching of the audio describer and those types of things. We've run hundreds and hundreds of videos through this thing. But when you get out into the wild, you're going to learn things that we did not discover. And we'd love to hear what those look like. Hence the also keep your instructors in the loop. Okay, so now moving on to training and such. We've written a sample email you can share with your instructors that really tries to focus on announcing it to them. Here's what it is and here's what you can expect. This process is going to work not just for newly uploaded content, because a lot of you have been using Harmonize for years. You have tons of instructor content in there. Those videos need audio descriptions as well. This audio description process and alt text process and everything will work on older content. So let's say you grab a course from 5 years ago, you've been using Harmonize that long, you copied into the current semester. As soon as a user goes into that activity, we are going to go in and start describing things and generating alt text for things so that you are not paying for content you don't want to audio describe, but as soon as it becomes active again, we are describing it. So what that means is that when we launch this, there are going to be instructors who, even though they haven't recorded new content, they're going to get a notification. Hey, your audio description of your video is ready. Please review. And that's where we are trying to get those instructors to come in and look at the content. What that means is they had a lecture video, either they launched into it or a student launched into it, and we're like, Title II's coming, let's describe it type of thing. It's really important that the instructors look at those. It's also important to know that this is a tool that's going to start working automatically on older content. And so hence we want to give you a couple weeks to be able to drop this email out to instructors while it's coming to let them know this is a thing we want you to do. Instructors don't do tons and tons and tons of video content by and large, but if you do have an instructor who's like recorded hundreds and hundreds of videos, it is possible they're going to get hundreds of notifications spread out over the next, 6, 8 weeks, month, 2 months as their content starts to get accessed. Um, and maybe they want to more methodically go through and do that. That is the way outlier. Most instructors don't do that much video, but this is the things to keep in mind. This is going to try to go back and fix your old content as well as it becomes active and used. To that end, we're training instructors. We're having a training on the launch date that instructors can attend. We have a training a week after that they can attend. We are having trainings monthly after that because a lot of you are wrapping up your spring semesters and it's not as important for a spring semester rolling into summer. There will be monthly trainings throughout the summer and then through fall. We also will offer individual trainings for your school. So if you, for some reason, want to couple this with some additional accessibility Title II related content and you don't want to get your instructors into 2 meetings on it, let us know. We have a way to book time. If you don't find a time, let us know and we will be able to customize that. Just like with all of our trainings, talk to us about what you need and we will adapt what we're doing. So now you have tons of documentation with walkthrough videos that Alex has done, which I didn't mention, but she's done tons of them. It's awesome. We have the email you can send out to them. We have group trainings they can attend, and we have individual trainings you can schedule as you see fit. This is all in the attempt to really drive home with the instructor. This is still your responsibility. Like we will generate the alt text. It might need some tweaking. We will generate the audio description. It might need some tweaking. Please pay attention as we go through. There's a bunch of things that I quibble over when I'm looking at these videos. Like in that math video, it said that the handwriting was black. Was that important? Probably not. In a perfect world, we'd even get the instructor to remove the word black if it wasn't important because we're removing cognitive load. I don't expect that to happen. That's a perfect world. But they should review them for some amount of, does this make sense completeness wise? That implies that an instructor knows something about audio descriptions. If they don't know about audio descriptions, they're definitely not writing them from scratch. And so the question is, how much can we train instructors on what these mean? We will cover examples of that in our trainings, just like I covered in this, where it's like, this looks incorrect, et cetera, as well. But we can't fully train all of the instructors into doing thorough, quality, good audio descriptions. Hence, this is kind of the stair step lift up into that. Let's see, what else are the things am I supposed to go into here? Go look at my notes.
Marcus, this will be released in a couple of weeks, and if you've signed up for it, you'll have access to it. If they've not signed up, how do they go about actually signing up for this, for the
Okay.
AI generator?
Fair point. So giving people a feel for this, like it runs about 7% of your Harmonize cost. But you're going to probably want to play with it beforehand. Maybe not. It's up to you. If you actually want to, you can meet with David and Alan. They will go over your specific pricing quote. Maybe just David, maybe Alan. I don't know which one's going to handle it. And they will explain to you the cost structure, what it looks like, and they can set you up with a demo server to play with so you can upload your own videos. Because all the stuff we showed you, we didn't fix any mistakes in on purpose, so you could see mistakes where they are made. So we weren't cleaning up that content for you. So you should upload some of your own and see what you think about them, and play with it in that regard. So David and Alan can get you set up with a place to do that, so that you can then explore it, have some of your accessibility people explore it, have some instructors explore it, whatever it is that you want to do. David, did you and Alan decide, are you going to do a Calendly link for that? Oh, yes, you apparently are because you just put it out in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're taking a look at this video or you share this video with someone they want, we will also follow up with that link so you can schedule some time to get set up with a place to play with it as well. This is one of the only things we've actually decided to charge extra for, just because we are using ChatGPT, we're using OpenAI behind the scenes to do this, and there is a pretty significant cost. So we're just basically passing that cost straight on to you. We're not trying to make profit on it, but it is too big of a cost for us to enroll it into the price of Harmonize. So there's one of the few things we ever sell extra as separate. So play with it, decide what you think. They can help sort of shepherd you through that process and get quotes and such. And you can turn this on whenever, right? Like some schools have already turned it on, so they're ready for that Title II date in a month. Some schools have decided to turn it on for July because they're like, spring's wrapping up. Let's focus on July forward. That's when our budget year is. Whatever it is, let us know, and you can get that figured out as well. All right, 6 minutes left. I'm kind of shocked we covered all that in an hour, but what kind of questions do people have for us? And they can be about anything at this point. going twice. You're also welcome to come off mute at this point because we got through our content. So if it's easier to ask in voice, you can do so.
Marcus, since we have some extra time, did you want to address Smita's question earlier about annotations on videos?
Yeah, while we're waiting for things to come in, sure. So Smita, the we have two types of annotations. We have social annotation, social reading, etc., which works on a PDF. That is the highlight text, have a sidebar conversation. People often expect to go there and see video annotation a la Perusal, the way Perusal does things. Our video annotation is actually done inside of assignments, peer review, discussions, etc. And you put that in, and then each student gets their own copy of the video that they can do timestamp commentary and critique on. We call that video critique versus video annotation because it's really each student is critiquing that video and digging in and doing it, and then the instructor controls the visibility of that. So we actually run trainings on this specific topic. We call it the social reading, and well, actually, I don't know what we call it. Alex and David, what do we call that specific training for the social reading? Social reading. So we cover this in our social reading. As well. So you can actually attend a group training on that. I think those are coming back on those. I think we aren't doing right now because it's spring break, but they're coming back online. I don't know if we scheduled those yet, but you can get into training on those, and we'll cover the difference between the different things as well. And Abigail, thanks for your kind words. That's awesome. It has been a ton of work. We've been focused on accessibility till our eyes are bleeding accessibility for the past 6 to 9 months now. So this is the end result of all of that. And then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled things that people are asking us to build outside of accessibility viewpoint. 4 more minutes. I guess while I'm on the accessibility front, we are actually rolling out more accessibility enhancements to our social annotation tool as well. So if you are looking at social annotations and wondering how they fall into Title II compliance with the new deadlines coming, our tool is screen reader friendly. Like you can, go in and do social annotations, but my belief is that it's still an arduous paradigm for students, if you will. Like if I can't see and yet I'm having a document read to me, why are you making me go and actually find the spot and highlight it to be able to tell what it is? And furthermore, if your other students are commenting and I can't see, how do I know the context of what they're commenting upon? So the paradigm itself is a little broken. To that end, we are doing some accessibility enhancements to allow what we are calling page level commentary. So if they are having it read to them and they're like, I'm on page 3, they can just be like, add a comment on page 3. It said something about this. This is what I think, full stop. So they can add commentary without having to do the navigation for it as well. This is not even true just for people with visual disabilities. Like if they have a mobility issue and they can't use a mouse, also, can we just give them a quick keyboard shortcut to add a page level comment? The other thing we're doing is we're making our social annotations more smart. So if another student does highlight something, we can tell what they've highlighted, whatever the past tense of that is. And we were going to start including that in the sidebar. So now when a student with a screen reader comes along, this is good for sighted users as well, but when they come along and they're like, here's a comment, instead of having to associate the comment to where it's at in the page, we're just going to say what they highlighted. The student highlighted blah, 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 and then the comment was blah, 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 so that we're trying to make that more accessible. So I don't know, many schools are struggling with this necessarily given all the other noise in Title II that they're dealing with, but if that is a concern of yours, working on those, they're coming up hand wave sometime soon in the next upcoming months. It's one of the higher items that we're working on from that perspective because I feel like the paradigm needs a fix, if you will, to be able to work with it. So very powerful tool, great for reading comprehension, all those things. So this will just kind of level it up a little bit. So stay tuned for that. It's not part of this release. This was all just pure Title II requirement stuff, but that's coming as well. So. All right, with that, no more questions came in, so we will wrap it up on time. The recording will come out with all the links to the documentation, to the help email, to the training links, all of those things. Feel free to follow up, ask questions. As always, drop them into support@harmonizelearning.com because that gets to all of us, and that way we can track it and make sure we're doing it. As you start to play with it, please give us feedback as always, because this is a new realm for us. To some degree, we're pushing into realms that we are not the experts in, and trying our best to help schools out. So yes, without further ado, I'll let you all go. and we'll get these resources. It may not be till tomorrow before the video is ready and we're sending out the recording and such, because it's getting late in David's day and he doesn't need to stay up over dinner and send out a video, but we'll get that out tomorrow morning for y'all. Excellent. Alex, David, Andrew, thank you. Well, Andrew, you didn't have to answer any questions, so you just got to chill. But Alex and David, thanks for pulling all this together when I was out of break. And we will loop back around, get in touch soon. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everyone.